This man, I have to tell you, it was so fun to work with. He's a great guy. He's very, very smart, and very talented, but also just has the ability to be silly. And I love that, So we were definitely fast friends. But Gaspar, the role he plays, to us was always the final piece in the puzzle, trying to create it on the page. But when he turned up and took it to another level, and it just felt so effortless. I remember that first day we did our first scenes together. I was like, oh my God, this is going to make this movie.
I had too much fun making the film, and that sounds crazy because you kind of want to tell people, hey, it's really hard. It was really hard. I mean, physically it was hard. The weather was unkind in terms of how hot it was. But at the end of the day, I mean, we had some of the best circumstances to film in. Everything sort of fell in line. We got along pretty well, pretty quickly, and that sort of translated to the film because chemistry does count. It doesn't matter whether you're telling a love story, whether you're telling a bromance, or whether you're telling, whatever story you're trying to tell. If the two guys or the couple, if it's not working, it doesn't translate, and you can feel that. So I think for the most part, I sat there and I went, oh man, this is working out really well because you just don't know until you show up on the set.
The second I read it, I went, this is a ride. This is definitely something that I think audiences would love to see on the big screen. But actual fact, with characters that are grounded and very fascinating dynamics between them. And from then on, it was getting the script into shape because I always knew there were more moments we could find. There were more interesting relationships, especially between myself and Gaspar. And then to make it as exciting as possible from the start to the finish and grounding it and making it believable with all these characters that are just struggling, regular people in this bizarre situation.
If you think about it, I think going back to Jerry, talking about chemistry and talking about working with someone, the two characters, and in terms of redemption, redemption is earned. It's like the relationship is earned. You can't be friends with someone who you haven't been to war with. I mean, if you've been through something with someone, that's going to bond you quicker than anything else. That's why people in the military call people that they fought alongside brothers. That's why people who play sports and stuff like that, they go to battle. These things bond you, and I think that's what bonds us. So even if we were trying not to be friends, it's kind of impossible when your life's on the line. This person has saved your life, or he's had your back in a gun fight. And I think those things are going to resonate with a lot of the audience members. These two people are not focusing on each other, but focusing on survival. And through survival, they create a bond that's inseparable in some way.
This movie ticks so many boxes. It's an action movie. It's a disaster movie. It's a survival movie. It's very funny. And what you really climb into, though, are these characters that you can identify with and understand in these relationships. So I think that really we're taking the audiences on a hell of a ride into this unknown world that at the same time they really feel that they've gone into themselves. But there's such interesting themes in the movie, like loyalty, trust, friendship, courage, sacrifice. And I think that that's what they take out of it. That they're kind of get the ride of a lifetime and then come out pretty inspired.
Hopefully they'll think about themselves in a they too can be heroes. These characters are, again, very relatable. Everybody in that situation, no one's prepared for it. No one expects this when they get on that plane, and they end up, having to do something that seems almost impossible. And I think when it ends, they're going to look at it and go, sometimes, you just never know what you can get out of yourself. You never know what you're capable of. And I think that's what people are always responding to. Acts of heroism by people who are just seem to be outnumbered and unmatched. And I think that's what's going to always resonate with audiences.